This is Reframe, the podcast from the College of Education, Health, and Society on the campus of Miami University. Some people would call it an incredible learning opportunity. Others would see it as a fantastic summer adventure. But for Maria Kahn, the chance to work at the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture is absolutely both.
So I, about a year ago, just started thinking of different museums, and I thought, oh, how cool would it be to go to D.C. and work there and spend a summer there. So then I applied and basically crossed my fingers, and never in my wildest dreams did I think that I'd end up interning for them this summer.
Kahn, a Miami University sophomore studying social studies education in the College of Education, Health, and Society with a dual major in history, speaks with the enthusiasm of someone fully aware of the scope and significance that this opportunity holds. And she's eager to get started, and for very good reasons. The Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture is the newest addition to an iconic group of 19 institutions, which are nearly universally renowned as world-class educational and research centers. And now, the National Museum of African American History and Culture is expanding upon this rich legacy as the only cultural institution dedicated exclusively to exploring the African American experience, its relevance, and impact on society. The museum stands, as President Obama stated during a recent dedication ceremony, quote, not just as a record of tragedy, but as a celebration of life, an important part of our shared story. And since opening in September of 2016, both public interest and visitor attendance have exceeded all expectations. The Associated Press has called it the hottest ticket in Washington, D.C. Thousands of tickets continue to evaporate just as quickly as they're made available. And so far, nearly 1.5 million visitors have already come to take in its messages of hope and optimism, of struggle and resilience, of pain and progress. In June, Kahn will begin her internship in the museum's education department, where she'll help facilitate a number of programs designed to promote these themes. Among her various responsibilities, which will include writing and event coordinating, Kahn will also be directly involved in a professional learning workshop for educators and students called Let's Talk, Teaching Race in the Classroom.
So often I think it gets barely scratched on the surface because a lot of people are uncomfortable talking about it. They don't want to offend anybody. They don't want to. It is an uncomfortable topic, but it's something that needs to be talked about. So I think that's something that's really cool that they're doing this summer, is to try and, what I would say is, make people comfortable being uncomfortable.
As a student of both history and education, Kahn's interests clearly align with the type of content and programming that the museum offers. But while it may have been her history background that first sparked the idea to apply, she admits that it was ultimately her EHS experiences that inspired the next steps.
After being at Miami for the past 2 years, I've met a lot of great faculty and staff. Within EHS, there's a lot of great people who I think have definitely pushed me to look further into certain things. And while I think history was my initial reason for doing this, it's become clearer as the days go by that EHS and the people in that building, in those departments, have definitely had an impact on me.
Across Miami, EHS is poised, perhaps more than other university divisions, to initiate and advance more salient conversations about race, diversity, inclusion, and acceptance. Here, many of the changes sweeping across our increasingly integrated global community are already reflected throughout the curricula and research of various EHS faculty. Many hope to establish and advance the holistic, integrated, and ethical educational approaches that can ultimately lead to increased social justice and racial equality. And this has become part of Kahn's goals as well. She's learning how to engage difficult issues and why it's important to transform curricula in culturally relevant ways. These are among the skills she's already gaining as an EHS student, and it's what she hopes to continue exploring this summer at the National Museum of African American History and Culture.
Wherever I end up teaching, that's going to be something that's a given. Including social justice into the curricula makes classes more meaningful, because that's what wakes people up and is oh, that makes more sense that we're learning about this. So I think having this type of internship and gaining the type of knowledge that I'll hopefully gain this summer, that will further my skill set to be a better teacher in the future.
So even beyond what lies ahead this summer, Kahn also plans to carry this approach into her future career as a teacher, as an educational leader, and as a socially conscious member of society who, very much like the National Museum of African American History and Culture itself, is dedicated to spreading messages of tolerance, inclusion, diversity, and understanding.